Virtual Week 5 of Learning with Miss Jones. Today we're going to talk about relationships that occur in our ecosystems, and we're also going to talk about predator and prey relationships as well. So first we'll talk about a symbiotic relationship, which is a relationship between species where one species always benefits. And there's three types we're going to talk about. The first type is called mutualism. That's where both organisms benefit from the relationship. Such example is the bee and the flower. The bee goes to the flower to get its food, and then all that pollen sticks to the bee's leg, so then whenever the bee goes somewhere else, that pollen's going to get spread. So the bee's happy that it's been fed, and the flower's happy for the pollination and fertilization. Another example is the bird and the rhino. Birds will catch a ride on a rhino's back. Now the birds are also getting food off the rhino's back, some sort of parasites that could harm the rhino. So the rhino is not being harmed because the birds are eating, and the birds are happy because they're eating. Mutualism. And the last example of mutualism that we commonly use is the cleaner shrimp and fish. Think about the fish tank in Finding Nemo. The cleaner shrimp are getting food off the teeth or of the mouths of these fish, while the fish are getting their mouths cleaned and also getting things out that could be harmful to them. So the shrimp eats and the fish get great teeth. Our next example is commensalism. That's where one organism benefits and the other is not affected. An example of that is the shark and the remora fish. The remora is a small fish that likes to feed on the underside of sharks. It's getting all the algae and everything else off of it. On top of that, the remora is hitching a ride on a shark, which means any predator the remora has is probably prey to the shark, so it also gives them protection. The shark can go with or without the algae. It's not really being affected at all. So the remora gets its food and protection, the shark not really affected. Commensalism. On the flip side, we have the Spanish moss in the tree. We don't have many of those trees here in North Carolina, but there are tons in South Carolina and Georgia. The Spanish moss wants to be in the tree because organisms like to eat it. So the higher up it is in the tree, the less likely they are to get eaten. Now the tree can survive with or without the Spanish moss, so it makes no difference to them. So moss gets protection, tree's unaffected. Commensalism. The last example is parasitism. Sounds bad, doesn't it? That's where one organism benefits and the other is harmed. An example of that is the tick in a dog, or a tick in a human. The tick's eating the blood while the dog gets affected with some sort of disease. It can be very dangerous to dogs, humans, whatever else it affects. Or the tapeworm in the human. Tapeworms want to eat what's in your gut, but for humans that's a very bad thing. And one you may not be aware of is mistletoe in a tree. Mistletoe is actually a parasite, so it's not doing any good to the tree. And the only way to get it is to shoot it out because it's way up top high in those trees. Make sure you check out the Google Slides presentation for this, because there's some very interesting pictures. The thing with parasites is that they have to have a host. If the host dies, so does the parasite, just like a virus. The mistletoe sucks nutrients out of the tree, and that's going to weaken the tree, which is why it's considered to be a parasite to the tree. So again, one organism benefits, the other is harmed. Parasitism. Now sadly, all around the world and in every single species, competition has to take place. That's when two or more organisms are competing for the same resources. In the first part of ecology, we talked about the roles of organisms and their niche. Well, different niches reduce competition for organisms sharing a habitat together. I know you've probably seen this before though. Maybe it's at the beach. Those seagulls are mean to each other. Or maybe you've seen just a bunch of cats all fighting to eat the same thing. Even those hawks and buzzards that fly all around, they're all trying to eat the same thing. Have you seen those lines on Black Friday when people get trampled? Competition has to take place. And the last thing I want to talk to you about today are predator and prey relationships. Predators rely on prey for their food. So if the number of prey start to decline, that means the predator number is also going to decline. The most commonly used graph is the lynx and the hare. The lynx population follows the hare population. It's a little bit behind it, but over time you'll see those trends. So as the prey goes up, the predator will also go up. When the prey goes down, the predator will go down. This makes logical sense though. If you don't have as much to eat, how can the predator survive? And that's where competition comes back into play as well. The predator and prey populations will always do this. They'll always ebb and flow. But think about it. When the hare population drops, the lynx population will also drop. That's going to allow the hare population to spike back up, and that will eventually allow the lynx population to spike back up. It gives a chance for these species to repopulate. So in the end, it's ultimately a good thing. Well, that's all I got for you for week 5 of virtual learning from Miss Jones. I hope you guys have a fantastic rest of your week. If you have any questions at all, please let me know. Till next time, guys, I'm out.